Welcome. So this is our second meetup for the OffChain Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we're at Lily's Bistro. It's a really great place. Come to Lily's. Lily's is the best. How is the food, Faith?
Excellent.
Excellent food, great drinks. Thanks for hosting us here. So I'm Mike Michelini, and I'm gonna go through some web3 domains. There's a lot to cover, and I try my best to give screenshots. Maybe next slide.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me, Michael Michelini, and I born in Connecticut, New York, near New Jersey area. And I went to college in New Jersey at Stevens Tech, and I worked on Wall Street for 5 years, and I lived in China for about 12. And I've been back and forth between Chiang Mai a few times. But I love the internet marketing. I love e-commerce, and I love what the point of Web3 and decentralized internet is about. I'm really tired of Facebook, Google, Amazon owning and controlling the internet, right? These internet companies, they own our data, they own our identity, and they can easily, because you checked that box when you signed up, they can just remove you. That's what Web 2 is. Web 3, maybe on the next slide. Web 3 is you own your data, you own your name, right? Just like Bitcoin was for money, with these various Web3 projects I'll be talking about today is owning your data or owning your domain name on a blockchain, on a decentralized internet solution, right? So if you can see here, one of my names is Flamingo Handshake. If you can see on the picture here, it's a emoji domain of a flamingo and a handshake, and people know me by that, or know our brand by that. So we're here in Thailand, and maybe you don't even speak English. You don't need to know what flamingo or handshake, but you know the picture of a flamingo, and you know a picture of a handshake. And this is part of the future internet, that global. It's not, I am American, I'm an native English speaker, but there's many more people all around the world that don't speak English or didn't learn English as their first language. There's of course Thai names, Chinese names from all around the world that you can use. So my other project is SkyInclude. And we have skyinclude.com, but we also have .skyinclude on Handshake, which I'll share about later. Okay, so next slide. So there's three different domain name services I'm going to talk about today. The first domain name service is Ethereum. I'm sure you know Ethereum. Have you heard of Ethereum?
Yeah.
Yes? No? So Ethereum is like the second biggest after Bitcoin. I'm sure you heard of Bitcoin. So Ethereum is basically the second biggest blockchain money or project in the internet. We'll talk about that in the next slide. The second domain name solution on the Web3 or the decentralized internet is Handshake. And then the third is Unstoppable Domains, or UD. So let's go for the first, ENS, or Ethereum name solution or service. So you know .com, right?
Yeah.
These are .eth for Ethereum. So maybe on Twitter, you might have seen people with .eth. Have you seen that before on Twitter? Sometimes their username is, faith.eth or pim.eth. Your domain name could be pim.eth. And this is very, very popular now. As an NFT, as your username. A lot of people use it as their name. And the other way is actually taking a .com and bringing it onto Ethereum as a Web3 domain. So you could take your normal domain name and move it to Ethereum, but it's still, I feel, like a Web2 domain. But you could have the domain ownership on Web3. But primarily I call this .eth domain system. Next slide. So this is just a screenshot of ens.domains. You can go there. This works on your Chrome or your Firefox. You will need MetaMask. Have you used MetaMask before? No? So MetaMask is pretty common for people that trade NFTs. It's what connects to Ethereum blockchain on your Chrome browser or Brave browser. So you can connect to it. And then on the next slide, so I own my last name is Michelini. So I own the domain name michelini.eth. So that's a screenshot of how it looks. Have you heard of OpenSea?
Yeah, OpenSea.
OpenSea is it's kind of like an eBay for NFTs. It's like a marketplace for NFTs. So these domain names are not sold on like GoDaddy or Namecheap or other platforms right now that I'm aware of. They are sold on these NFT platforms such as OpenSea. So I was able to buy my name, and with this, the main use case of an ENS domain is not for going to it on your browser, but to be able to send cryptocurrency to other people, or they send it to you without making a mistake. So instead of sending it to OX 548392418, you send it to faith.eth, so that when he sends it to you, he doesn't make a mistake, or you need to send him a long blockchain address. So the primary use of this is an easy to remember wallet address for people to send cryptocurrency to and from you, as well as NFTs. So if you're trading like a Bored Ape, and you can just say, hey, I buy it from you, I send you 5 ETH, you send me the NFT. And you can just verbally say it instead of sending a long blockchain address, like Ethereum address or other addresses. Does that make sense? It can be used as a normal domain, but it's not commonly used at that because it doesn't work in a normal browser right now without plugins. I think it is working in Brave, but if you type it in, most of the time it forwards to another website. So the primary use of ENS domains is a wallet address. So next slide, showing you some screenshots of how this looks. So you see that long address on the top, OX9FA, that's my Ethereum address. That's the owner of my domain name, which is michelini.eth. So instead of you sending me money there, like if you like today's speech and you're online, you want to send me some tips, you could just send it to michelini.eth, and it will go into this OX9FA99BB F570, blah, 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 all that, right? I don't have to say that. I don't have to put that. I just say verbally, as long as you can spell my last name, .eth. And it does expire. You have to renew every year. Just like a normal domain name, you have to pay for it to keep it going. But it's actually in your wallet. So I have to say, I have lost some of my domains from GoDaddy. Some lawyer would send a letter to GoDaddy and say that my domain name is taking their trademark, and GoDaddy will listen to them and take the domain from me. But in ENS domains or these Web3 domains, nobody, unless they have your seed address, if it's in your own wallet, it's your own seed key. So just like your own Bitcoin, your own domain name on Web3 is your domain name, so long as you don't, of course there's hacks, or you give your seed phrase away, or you connect to a malware site that steals your domain or your money. But if you take care of it and never have that kind of bad luck, it's always yours. Nobody can take it from you. Like GoDaddy or any of these other domain services can not take it from you. The next slide shows just some more screenshots of how to use this. So you see that long OX9FA again. That's my Ethereum address for michelini.eth. If I also want to put my BTC or my Bitcoin address, I could paste my Bitcoin address. If I have Litecoin or I have Dogecoin, I can put all of my long cryptocurrency addresses into this and then save it onto the blockchain of Ethereum. And then anybody that wants to send me that crypto will find this long address and send it to that address. Okay? So this is an overview. I love questions. We'll see how long these slides take, but that's one, so there's two more. So that's Ethereum. This is Handshake blockchain. I have to admit, this is my favorite one. Cool. This is my favorite one. It's getting romantic in here. I got a candles. So this is my favorite one. So I am biased. I'm actually wearing a Handshake pin. This is the logo of Handshake. I'm a big believer in it. I've been in it for over a couple of years. So I'm going to try to be neutral. I did share ENS to the best of my ability the correct way. I'm going to talk about Handshake and I'm going to talk about Unstoppable. So Handshake. This is the homepage of Handshake. It's handshake.org is their website. And as you can see here, it's a decentralized naming. You can see it, this one. So, yeah, so it's its own blockchain. It's a fork of Bitcoin or Bitcoin. It's basically like, it's proof of work. Again, I don't know how advanced. I know there's some newer people here to crypto. But it's its own blockchain. It's not on Ethereum. It's not on Bitcoin. It's not on common ones. It's a very smaller chain. Some people think that's a negative. I actually think that's a positive. We can talk about that in questions, but it's its own blockchain. And it has its own token or coin actually called HNS. So the next one is the Bitcoin of domains. So I feel like this is a Bitcoin of domains, in my opinion. And the next slide is showing the chain with the blocks. Okay. So every block is keeping the track of the domain names on this system. And the Handshake blockchain only does domains. It's not like Ethereum or others or Bitcoin that does lots of other things. It's only doing domain names. So I think that's a positive. That's why, but some people think that's a negative because it's not used enough or it's not big enough. But the creators, I'm not a creator. I wish I was, but the creators wanted it to be very simple. Next slide, TLD versus SLD. Another thing to think about is TLD versus SLD. Next slide is better. So you see the com, org, gov, edu. Those are TLDs, top level domains. And actually, like in Thailand, it's co.th. Can you also get .th? Do you know if you can get a...
Thailand.
Both you can get? Co.th. Is there, can you get just .th? Do you know? No, just .co.th?
Yeah, co.th.
Okay. So that's a TLD. So it's a top level domain. So most people never really think of what's a top level domain. It's a domain extension. But basically these are what's on the Handshake blockchain. So of course, next slide is an example. So this is one of my domains, .skyinclude. So it's on the right of the dot. So instead of it being skyinclude.com, it's faith.skyinclude. So the idea of this is I can be my own registrar. I can be my own GoDaddy. You can sell domains or give away domains. Country, you can be your own country. You can be your own extension. So it opens up a whole new world of making websites and making businesses and making communities. Next slide. Forever domains is one example. So this is more similar to ENS domains. It's actually a fork of ENS domains, but this is .forever. And if you go to next slide, this is another domain I bought, living.forever. So living.forever is on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's using Handshake, which is .forever, but the living dot is bought on Ethereum. And I will always own it for life on Ethereum. I paid $200 US for this, I believe. I might be wrong, but I paid about $200 for this. So it gives the same ability as the ENS domain, but it's a different extension, and it's using the Handshake blockchain as the root, although actually .eth is also held there as well. But I hope I'm making sense. I'm feeling like it's pretty advanced and I'm going a little bit fast, but I'm giving kind of an overview, and I'm more than happy to dive deep. But my point today is to show you the different types of Web3 domains. And then I think we can get to networking or questions. I think we'll just do this for recording, and then if you're curious about these more deeply, actually I have 200 videos on my channel of YouTube, Skynet YouTube. So the other way to do it is impervious.domains. Impervious lets anybody be their own registrar. So if you want to make money, Ethereum, you can stake your TLD from Handshake into Impervious. So I've earned about a half a ETH, so about $1,500 in the last couple months from this platform. It's very new. So I think this example is better. The next slide, magic.omen. Do you see that? Magic.omen. So this is actually, .omen is one I own on Handshake. So that one, I have the .omen. Magic.omen, somebody else registered. So somebody gave me money to get magic.omen domain. So I'm the owner of the omen, and then he's the owner of magic.omen, and this person can keep it or sell it. So I hope this is, I know it's complicated, but so whenever anybody buys any .omen, I get the money. And then because I'm the domain owner, extension owner of all .omens. So I think it's a cool one. I like Omen. I invested a bit into this one. So if you want like faith.omen, I think it's a nice one, right? Like faith.omen. You don't gotta buy that if you don't want, or if you use it, I'll gift it to you. I can send you one for free if you want it. If you promise me you don't have to use it, but as long as you'll consider using it. So if you got faith.omen, it would be in your Ethereum wallet, and then you could, of course, sell it. A lot of people are buying and selling these, so you can get somebody else to give you money, but you could also use it as your address. You can also use it for your Web3 domains. But I like this platform. That's why I like Handshake more, because I have Omen, and then I could gift it to you, or you could buy it from me, right? Or maybe somebody watching this today wants to buy a .omen, and it goes to me as a individual, right? I'm just an individual. I bought .omen, I own it, and then I can sell it, or I gift it, or I can do anything I want. And then you can use that domain. Instead of it going through like ICANN, and then I gotta pay, you know how much it costs to do like a domain extension for traditional web domains? I think it's $85,000 or $185,000 US dollars application fee to get approval from the ICANN, which is a body of people that actually own the keys to the internet. And then they allow somebody like VeriSign to own .com, and then VeriSign lets GoDaddy sell .com, and then when you buy a .com, you pay GoDaddy, but GoDaddy pays a bunch of that to VeriSign. But now with magic.omen, Actually, I pay 20% to Impervious. I pay a commission. I keep 80%, but 20% goes to this platform. But it's just so much more, isn't it? It's just more true ownership. It's like true transparency. It's on the blockchain. It's not like this vague, unclear process where it's in some centralized databases and I don't really know. And then they could also like take a domain from me or delete something. This is all transparent on the blockchain. And that's what Web3 domains and Web3 in general is about, is true ownership to the individual, not to the corporation. It's the ownership is to the creators, to the individuals. Next slide. So Namecheap, which is the second biggest domain registrar in the world after GoDaddy, has embraced Handshake. You can see if you go to namecheap.com, you can see Handshake right on the homepage usually. So they have domains you can buy that are Handshake domains. So r.p, actually that's the one I got. I.p just sold for $10,000 US. Fun fact. But I mean, I just want to say, they are selling Handshake domains, and they're the second biggest Web2 domain registrar. So I think that's really good validation. The others is the next slide. You can see Agamin. These are my friends in India. Sajjan. He's got his own registrar for the India market. So he's got Hindi or Hindu names. So you can register, I'm sorry, I don't know Hindu, but instead of English, right, you can have your Hindu domain dot your Hindu at the end. And he gets some of that money, and some of that money goes to maybe some other owners, and there's no middleman. Again, I'm an American, right? But I don't think it's right that an American company controls the whole international internet. That's what I like about Web3 and domains is it can be owned by anyone and everyone, which I think is a more free and open internet than the current internet. Pork Bun is also selling these. Hey.tx, this is my friend Noel. He's a really great guy in Texas, so he has .tx. He's made a whole business around this. He's doing this full-time selling .tx domains for Texas. You can also see Encirca selling these. So it's just creating more, I think, distributed internet for individuals and people all around the world. So next slide, Beacon browser. So this is a browser that's I believe it's a fork of Chrome or Chromium. And you can surf these domains without any extensions if you use this browser. So unfortunately, Firefox and Brave and other, Chrome doesn't resolve these domains yet, but you can download these free browsers that do, like Beacon. So here's a screenshot of me opening up a domain. Hello. So you can see my domain here. And notice it's michael.michelini. There's no .com at the end, you can see. And of course I have my name, michaelmichelini.com, but I also have my domain on my first name .michelini. That's fun. A lot of people like to have their family name, because then they can have so I have one, Maggie.Michelini for my daughter. I have Miles.Michelini for my son. My wife doesn't care, so I have /Wendy, if you want to see her, /Wendy. I didn't make a site, she doesn't want it. But this is like no fear. I hate to say it, but I have fear. I've had a lot of I've had Facebook accounts shut down, domains taken from me, hostings so many times shut down. They just say some terms of service or some kind of a legal letter request about a trademark, and I lose a lot of stuff. But this will not be taken away from me so long as I keep it in my wallet and I keep it up to date. So the last one is Unstoppable Domains. This is the third. So they're more targeting normal users. They're very easy to use. Unstoppabledomains.com. You can buy it with a credit card. It's very, very straightforward and easy. So a lot of people like them. They do a lot of Facebook ads. They're a U.S. startup. So I did buy some. I want to try all of them. So I bought skyinclude.crypto, skyinclude.zil, and the way they work is first you pay with credit card, and then you can mint them to a blockchain. So you see the button free mint. You can push this to the Polygon or Matic blockchain, and then have it owned on that blockchain. So next one is the mint on Polygon. This is how you would do it after you click that button. And then you can see it on the OpenSea, which we've been talking about in previous explanations. And you would have your domains there, as well as on Polygon or Ethereum. So a lot of people like these. There's a lot of hardcore supporters and fans and customers. I personally am not fully convinced they're decentralized because they are a US company with venture capital backing, and they charge very, very high upfront fees to register domains, premium domains, like thousands of dollars. And I just feel like that's not even what GoDaddy does or others. They let anybody register them for the same price. So they do have lifetime, but they do make it very easy. So their strategy is they make it easy. They collect money up front from venture capitalists. They collect money up front from customers, and then they get integrations with other platforms. And then they're saying later maybe they can be even more decentralized. It's the idea, but I just don't feel like I'm truly an owner of these domains, and I'm feel like more of a customer. I feel like it's more like a Web2 experience in my feeling. I'll make this last section quite quick. Hosting on the DWeb. So those are the 3 domain extensions, ways to register domains on Web3. Hosting on DWeb is a server where you put your images and where you put your text, and so there's a domain and there's hosting. You understand? Yeah? Okay. So there's 3 I'm going to talk about today. Again, there's more than this as always, but I'm trying to take the most popular. IPFS is, I think, one of the most popular. It's Interplanetary File System. Actually, people in China were using this when the government had the people in Shanghai locked down for 3 months, and they kept deleting all their files off of them complaining and sharing videos about them being trapped in their houses with no food. The government kept deleting them off of like WeChat and Weibo and Chinese like AliCloud. So people found about IPFS and started uploading them there. And the Chinese government cannot delete IPFS files. Nobody can delete IPFS or blockchain because it's a distributed network. People are running nodes at their house and they're hosting files. So the only way to take these down is to go to everybody's house around the world and unplug their server or computer. You'd have to take out everybody and like maybe blow up the whole world. So next screen. So IPFS, this is a demo of the desktop version. You can download this on your computer. You can connect to it. You can upload files. And then these files will then be distributed across their blockchain network. And then you have a long wallet path. You can see the page ID, that long one. Again, this is a little bit overview, but basically you take that and you connect that to your Web3 domain, and then your Web3 domain would pull this content and show the user this content. So you can say Michelini.eth, or you can say magic.omen, and then it goes onto the Ethereum blockchain, and then it looks up, is there content? Yes, okay, IPFS file, pull it, show it. So now if you're using both a Web3 domain and this one stopped, but that's still recording. It's a long talk. If you're really using decentralized domain and decentralized hosting, then GoDaddy does. If somebody says GoDaddy, this guy's bad, delete this thing, or the Chinese government tries to take somebody down, or they say this file is bad, they can't take it down. Both the domain will stay and the hosting will stay. But we're still early because the broad users don't understand this technology and don't understand, and it's not in browsers. It's not in Chrome and Firefox, right? So most people are still using major browsers. But once you can say go to magic.omin and it opens on Chrome and it pulls from IPFS, you'll have a site that can be online without worry from somebody taking it out offline. Next slide. So Akash is the second one, 2 more and then we're done. So Akash is AKT. This is on the Cosmos blockchain. And it's another solution. So I show you on the WordPress. You see the next WordPress one? We'll get through this in maybe 2 more minutes. On the WordPress one. So this is Akashalytics. Oh, you see it? So this is a very easy way. I host WordPress on Akash. I try to practice what I preach. I don't like to just speak about stuff like theoretically. I've used all of these. I showed you. I own these. I've hosted on these. This one's pretty nice. It's plug and play WordPress. So I think a lot of people know WordPress. So then you can have WordPress on this distributed network, and then you connect to a domain. And they work really well with Handshake. Akash and Handshake work really well together. So you can set up a WordPress site and point to a Handshake domain. And then it's also a lot more. All these are cheap or almost free as well, the hosting, because it's distributed everywhere, and the nodes are getting a small piece of all of it. You can do this for like $1 a month or less hosting. So it's also a lot cheaper than like Amazon hosting or Bluehost or these other Web2. So that's why they're scared, because it's cheaper and it's distributed and unstoppable. My final one, the third of 3 for hosting, is Sia, or I call it Sia. So this is more about data storage than database. So you can't do a WordPress on this as far as I know. Again, somebody might correct me on the video. But this is more for files than databases, meaning you can't run WordPress on Sia as far as I know. So the next slide is Skynet. So Skynet is one of their most common tools. And I use Skynet. You can use this. It's actually really easy. siasky.net. You can upload some kind of crazy file that the Thai government hates. You can upload it here, and this will get distributed across their whole network. And it's so easy to use. It's so easy to use. And then you see, just drag and drop, and this will be a distributed file. And you can use this on your websites. You can link to this. You can embed this on your sites. So it's a super easy way. So now the fish slide. Basically, that's it for the talk. It's my first time giving this presentation. I made this just a few days ago. I hope it's helpful, but what I'm saying is Blue Ocean, this is the very beginning. I mean, I still even think there's opportunities selling on Amazon. I still sell on Amazon. But I remember Amazon 6-7 years ago, and in 2014, my friends were saying it's too late to sell on Amazon. It's too competitive to sell on Amazon. I'm like, man, everybody always thinks they're too late. This stuff is so early, so early. I know it's not so clear, not so easy, and you can't open it on Chrome, but I truly, truly believe that this is going to catch on fire. Next slide's like, there's going to be a point, we're all waiting, when Donald Trump, like this idiot, if only he really used a decentralized social network, he got blocked on Twitter. We were thinking this guy was going to go to like one of these decentralized solutions. I don't want to say it, but it's usually going to be something like that, something political, something that that's where people are going to start to have to go to decentralized internet. But even in China, I just saw another article about more Chinese going onto decentralized social networks because they know WeChat is a tracking device that's used by the government. So, hello. So we're really, really early. And my last one is just the SkyInclude logo. So if you want to check out any more of these, is SkyInclude on YouTube or skyinclude.com. And I think we'll just cut the recording for now. And I have so many more slides, but I think I've done a lot of presentations, but that's all for the main content.